you should be able to be happy around that person or be your full self around that person. If you feel like you have to walk on eggshells around that person, or you have to watch what you say, like certain things like that kind of falls under the same umbrella, then that person's not for you, right? So we do miss a lot of like red flags and stuff too, because we have this ideal person, right? And if they check off all the boxes, we will be like, okay, I'm yours, but guess what? Are you guys compatible? Are you guys aligned in that energy aspect of things?
Can I add something to that though?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think from my perspective, what I see is a lot of people don't know themselves.
Okay.
And if you don't know yourself, you don't even know what you're like willing to accept from what you won't accept, because it's changing as on a daily basis. So I think people need to actually take time to figure out who they are and what they want with their life. And I'm not saying that's the case for everybody, but some people look for another person to complete them. When you shouldn't be doing that. You should figure out who you are first, what you stand on, your morals, your principles, what you're trying to accomplish. And then you'll trust me, it will unfold in that way, because somebody will come into your life and they'll be like, yo, this is a person of value. But if you don't know who you are, and on Sunday you're like this and Thursday comes, you're a totally different person, you're too flip-flop. Like, I can't deal with that.
Yeah, I was about to do this.
Fingers. You were saying about men being visual lovers, or they're attracted to people visually. Don't you think that it's going to be hard for us women to show you who we really are if their social media is like Instagram is killing relationships? Because guys are getting attracted to how they are portraying themselves on their profile to these women on their big bums and whatever. They think that they went to the gym, lifted up like 2 weights, but they or did 2 squats, and they got a big bum when they really went and bought that. So I agree with what you're saying, but it's also hard when our world is surrounded by social media, and social media is really affecting who we really want to be.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think to an extent, some men may be guided by what they see on social media platforms. But I think, there's beautiful women everywhere. And I will tell you, fortunately, we live in Toronto. We have some of the most beautiful women in the world. Right? I remember I had gone to an event and I was talking to this guy in the music business from the States, and he leans over to me and he's like, bro, it's not fair. You guys have some of the most beautiful women in the world. I'm like, what are you talking about? States got beautiful women too. And he's like, no. You have women of every ethnicity. I had to sit back and be like, yo, actually, yeah, I think we take it for granted. But yeah, there are unrealistic expectations due to social media. But I think when you go in the setting, in my daily life, I see beautiful women. I see beautiful women of all shapes and sizes. I don't think men will have an issue finding the woman that might be right for them.
Well, have you heard people saying that the ratio to men versus women is higher? Like there's more women in the world. So
I like those numbers. Yeah,
of course, you like those numbers.
Big numbers. But yeah, so there is more. But where were you going with that?
I have no idea. I just wanted to say something, I guess.
Yeah, no, okay. Yeah, there are more women in the world, so that technically speaking, we have more of a selection, right? But okay, so let me throw that question back at you. Do you guys think that Instagram has skewed your perception of the type of men that y'all want?
Nope.
No.
Why do you say that?
The men on Instagram, they're all they do is like show their money and all that stuff. They flash their money, their jewelry and all that stuff. So I'm not attracted to that stuff. I still need to get to know you.
All right.
So I personally feel that social media doesn't affect me if I'm going to look out for a guy. But I think that it affects me if I ever have interaction with you, like let's say you jump into my DMs and I respond, let's just say. You can't have a sentence without like proper grammar.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like grammar is a big thing for me, because if you can't type the way that you're speaking, if you're typing that you're speaking, that means we can't talk.
Conversation, yeah.
Our conversation is going to be like What are you saying? What the
I,
hell?
I, I remember, that reminds me, I went to school with somebody, and this girl she's like, yo, this guy that we knew, she's like, yo, he went to chop her. He wanted to talk to her. And she's like, yo, I really wanted to give this guy my number, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's like, yo, when he wrote down, because this is in the days where there was no cell phone or whatever.
Mm.
So he wrote down the phone number, and then he spelled phone Phone. She's like, Jesus Christ.
Mm.
That's sorry. We can't
We're
go
going back
further
to
with that.
kindergarten, guy.
Right?
You get the pizza number. You're not getting my number. Like,
But that's what I'm saying. Listen, looks aren't everything, guys. Like people will
but
go,
okay,
yeah,
Din,
yeah,
you have to, will you say you have to be in a certain setting? Like, I hear women say that, and it's equal for men.
yeah.
Like, if you, let's say you work with somebody,
Hmm.
and over time you realize their personality, you might be like, oh shoot. But off the jump, it don't happen like that.
Okay, okay. I get what you're saying because I guess because I could see someone, I'm like, okay, yeah, he's whatever, whatever. But
Mm,
then I haven't had that initial conversation, so I'm automatically attracted, right?
yeah,
But if I have that, I guess that's where you have to get to know someone now, a
yeah,
conversation. So,
yeah.
question for you now, like, what's for guys? What's their ideal? Let's say for you, your
Mm,
ideal date, right? So, like, would you rather have fun on a first date to see a girl's personality and things like that, see if she's adventurous? Would you rather have a conversation? I think I know what you're gonna say now because based off of your
yeah.
prior conversation
you
here.
guys even think of that?
Do guys think of that stuff? Because girls do for
I,
100% facts.
I can't speak for other men. I can
Yeah.
speak for myself.
Uh-huh.
One thing, and for the first date, we're not going to the movies. That's
Mm.
out of the question
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because there's no interaction. You're literally sitting down for like 2 hours in silence.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you had mentioned, I want to do something where I get to see your personality, and I like to laugh. So, preferably something we could do together where I get to see you laugh and we could exchange, have conversation of that sort and get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my ideal date, and it don't really need to be anywhere specific.
Mm-hmm.
If it's outdoors, it just needs to be some activity,
Okay.
something like that.
So in our last podcast, we're talking about kind of just women in general and how they're portrayed, and Black people how they're portrayed, right? One of the things that came up, we're talking about just ratchet females in general, right?
Hmm.
And I always have a theory. I think guys love mod like crazy girls. You get what I'm
Look at
saying?
him smiling. Look at him smiling.
Yeah, 100%. Guys
Yeah.
will complain and be like, yo, this girl's crazy. She mashed up my car. She bleached my clothes. She
God
ripped up my
dang.
stuff. But guess
Yeah.
what? They love it because then the next girl they're with is the same drama. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then my thing is, that I say that to say this. What would be, I guess, the exception to start bringing, a girl that you like around family and things like that? Like, how ratchet is too ratchet for you guys? And would you introduce that? Say you love her, but she's ratchet as hell. Are you bringing her around family, stuff like that? Like, what's your limits? Or
Well, let's go. Let me piggyback on what Katrina said a bit earlier.
Mhm.
She needs to know how to formulate a motherfucking sentence.
Yeah.
She needs to know how to converse with people that
Hmm.
are older than her.
Hmm.
Um, I I like a little bit of attitude, a little bit of spiciness,
Hmm.
but too much ratchetness, she ain't seeing mama. She's not seeing mama. No, 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 no.
Okay.
So, like, I like a little bit of pushback, Don't just do what I say. You want to get a little bit of attitude? Okay, that's cool and shit like that. But what you said before, bleaching clothes and keying cars,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. You gone too far now.
So
Yo,
would you want someone that resembles your mom?
You mean in
personality wise.
characteristics?
Yeah, personality
Yeah,
wise. Someone that would like
yeah. I want
on.
my mom. My mom is a lady of integrity, and what I say is, one thing that I got from her is like her integrity extends to when she's by herself or if she's in a room full of 100 people. She is who she is. Like, certain people will do things because there's a crowd present. She's gonna do things the way she wants to do it, and she's truthful in everything she does, and not just in, more so in actions than words, right? For example, ideally, if I'm in a relationship with a female, I would want to know that, I could trust, I have to have the utmost trust in you. Because the more people, usually the way things go, people like to sussue and get in people's business, and they shouldn't even be involved in people's business. But if I know my girl's character, like in and out, certain shit, if I hear it, I'll be like, that's bullshit, because her moral fiber, like who she is as a person, that goes against everything she believes in. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with who she is as a person. And if I could trust that, yeah, those things need to be in place. So yeah, I think I would like her to have those ingredients from my mom. Yeah.
So do you trust a girl right away? Do you let them break your trust, or how do you enter that relationship?
Okay, I'm a work in progress, so bear with me. A friend of mine, she always tells me, she's like, previously, I'm more of a pessimist. So I'm like, at some particular point in time, I think this person's gonna show me that they're fucked up, and I just wait for it, right?
So you anticipate it.
Yeah, and what I do is, what's the saying? Common sense is not that common, or whatever it is. So I'll be in a situation, I'll be like, yo, something will happen. I'll be like, oh, that shit was stupid. Like, why would they do that? They should know better. So let's say I was at 100%, then I dropped to 80%. And I keep doing that until I'm fucking not giving anything. And how could you be in a relationship like that? How are you going to be giving somebody 20% and expect the relationship to work? So my friend told me, she's like, yo, you need to work on that. You need to actually tell the person, have a conversation when you feel a certain way about whatever it is that's bothering you. And then depending on how they answer, you go from there.
Yep.
So now, as I said, that's how my approach was before. Now I'm trying to go with the optimistic approach. Everybody has a clean slate.
Good. Yeah.
Right? And then we work from there. And it would only work if I communicate. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day. They were having a problem with their boyfriend or whatever, and she was telling me, I'm like, yo, the biggest thing that I realize is communication. Communication. If you guys can't talk to each other truthfully, don't even try.
In the relationship, I mean, how are you going to let that person know they're in the wrong if you don't tell them?
Right.
So I completely agree with you. To you, Sin, is you ask a girl on a date, you figure out the place, then the bill, you guys go out to eat, then the bill comes. You don't really like the girl, but you are a gentleman. Do you pay for that date? Doesn't matter if you like the person or not to pay for the date.
No, I'm old school in the sense that if I ask somebody to go someplace, I'm paying for it. That's how I am. I always have my money ready if a girl were to ask me, but I would assume that, oh, okay, they're asking me to go someplace, so they're taking me on, treating me to whatever it might be.
Right.
But in the event that I gotta pay, yeah, I'll pay. So yeah, so I would.
Okay. When she invites you is when she should pay.
That's proper human decency, proper etiquette. You don't ask somebody out. Oh, I wait, Katrina, you want to go eat dinner? Yeah, and then I'm expecting you to pay.
You're like, psych, where's your wallet?
Yeah. Oh, what?
Could you imagine?
That's ridiculous.
But so that follows up for, I don't know if you guys seen the video on Instagram that was circulating about the guy that brought the girl out for food, right? He asked her out, and then he's breaking down the bill, and he's like, listen, you bought this, so you're paying for this. And she's like, excuse me, you asked me out.
Exactly.
And he's like, yeah, I didn't tell you that I was gonna pay.
He even split the taxes. He's like, the tax is about $2 and whatever. That's about $120. So
my goodness, yo, nah, that type of behavior is unacceptable. That's some real bum shit. I would never ever do that.
But what if the she attempts to pay and it doesn't go through?
Yo, that's Katrina, I'm fearful of that with anybody.
Me too.
So I always make sure I have my money just in case, because I don't know, and it might not be that you don't even have the money. Something could have went wrong with your card. Who
Right.
knows? You know, like TD has a tendency, if you spend someplace that you don't normally spend,
Mm-hmm.
they'll freeze your card.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, just as a security. So then you could go and try to pay, and then it's declined, and you're not knowing what the hell happened, looking like fucking a broke pocket. So I'm always aware of that. I'm like, no. Got my credit card and I got my 2 bank cards.
Back up.
Yeah, just in case some type of shit like that happened. Like I started breaking into sweat. Like, yo, you want to pay? All right. I just turn my face sideways. I hope that shit goes through, man.
Right.
I don't know. Yeah.
So it seems like based on your responses and stuff, you have a lot of girlfriends. So let's say you start a relationship.
What?
Okay. No, I mean every single story he's had is like, yeah, a girl told me. So
Yeah. Okay.
start a new relationship. Do you cut off some girls because you know how girls are?
Now you're potted. Okay.
That's a good
That's
question.
a very good question. All right.
You're answering for the man there, babe, so make sure you...
No. I got to answer for myself.
I know. Answer for yourself.
Okay. The relationship is going to change. The dynamics of the interactions with my friends is going to change.
Mm-hmm.
If the girl that I'm dating has an issue, why you got all these female friends? Because this goes back to what we talked about earlier. I try to put myself in their perspective. How would I feel if it was the other way around? Would I have an issue with it?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So I'd have the conversation. I wouldn't cut off the relationships, but it's just like this. If I have a female friend that starts dating a person, and let's say me and this person are like we're friends, homies, and I'm gonna respect their situation. I'll let her start calling me when she has time, when she wants to talk, rather than me initiating the conversation. Mm-hmm. Just because I don't want to be like, yo, why does nigga keep calling you, or why do you guys talk every other day or some shit? Yeah, you guys are friends. Are you really friends? Like, did something happen between you guys? So I try to deal with it the same way. I would try to respect and tell the girlfriends of mine, like, listen, it's gonna just change up a little bit because of this, and I have good friends, so they usually understand. But I would never cut anybody off. I'm not gonna change my life.
Can I interject for a second? So now you have good friends and you enter a new relationship, right? But I don't feel that. Me personally, I always I feel like there's always a balance. Obviously, you're not gonna do certain things you've done when you're in a relationship as opposed to single, okay? Mm-hmm. But when are you able to still keep your friends, knowing that there's nothing going on and stuff like that? When are you still able to keep your friends and talk to your friends and things like that? Why should you have to change anything? That's me per se. Like, why would you have to change anything?
You're right. I agree with you 100%. I think in the beginning, when the girl doesn't know any of this circle of people, there might be some like, okay, yeah, it's friends, but why they talk so much? That's just natural human inquisitiveness. I think what I would do is anytime like there's, you have some type of event or whatever, invite the girl to meet some of these people, so she can gauge them herself and be like, oh, okay, yeah, that person's a cool person. Like, oh, I understand more of their friendship, the dynamic with them. It goes back to, if you would have an issue with it, then you should understand. Like, if you wouldn't want that for yourself, and girls always, this is the story, like, oh, I can't talk to girls. All of their friends are men. So we deal with that shit. We deal with it, and we just have to like kind of figure it out. I think what pisses us off sometimes is the men can be like, yo, that nigga likes you.
That's the story of every girl's life. Every guy always assumes that guy likes you.
Do the same thing with their girlfriends. I mean, that girl is like looking.
Yeah. Okay, so it's everybody then. But the thing is,
but why is it that you guys, most of the time, you guys be like, oh no, they don't like me. You guys play like oblivious, but you can turn and be like, oh, that girl likes you, and 100, you're like, it's definitive that they like you. You just know.
because you could tell when, like, hey, let's be honest, but like, hey, to play devil's advocate, right, in the guy and girl's defenses, sometimes a lot of us are oblivious to who really likes us from who doesn't. Do you get what I'm saying? And what will happen is, because I've seen situations where I'm like, yo, that person likes you, and no, they don't. That's just da 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 da. But we on the outside looking in, you're seeing certain things, right? But this person, like, sometimes, like, Sincere, for example, you can have your girlfriend or whatever the case is, and she doesn't know a situation or whatever the case is, and she can look at you and be like, yeah, but for you, you're not attracted to that, maybe that individual or whatever, so you don't see it like that. But that's automatically like a jealousy, human nature trait. We're gonna do it regardless of anything, right? That's just what happens.
Okay, I do agree with you. Because I've been in a situation where that's the case, and a girlfriend at the time might have been like, yo, I think that person likes you. And then what? What's it my mom said? What? I can't remember. My mom has a saying. I can't remember. It's funny as shit. I wish I could say it. But anyways, and then it turns out to be that way. Yeah, like you said, because they're looking at it from the outside looking in and seeing little things that you're not really paying attention to because you're not looking at it from that perspective. But then there's sometimes that it's just fucking plain as day. Like, that person likes you and maybe you're trying to manage the situation. So what would you do in that case? You're talking to a man. You got a group of male friends. And there's one that you know likes you, or no, one that you know that if the opportunity presented itself, they would try to slide right in there. Would you fall back from that? How would you ladies approach it?
Fall back from that friendship if you're talking to someone and you know there's a friend that would be that as soon as something happens would slide in there? It depends on the person, really, because we can't help. First of all, we can't help who we like, and we can't help who likes us. Let's be completely honest, right? So if you want to let that ruin your relationship or your friendship, I should say, then so be it. But I think there should be some type of, I guess, communication. Let's circle back around to that. We talked about communication. There should be some type of communication where you could say, listen, I know you like me. Like, sometimes we just have to be very transparent. I know you like me, but I'm with this person. So we have to respect those boundaries, and, we could be friends. We could, because we've been friends before this person, right? But I just want you to know that I'm with this person now, and at the same time, you cannot and will not try to
cross the line.
this or cross the line, because it's not respectful to me. And if you value that friendship, or that person values that friendship, they won't do it. If they want it, if they're trying to cross the line and do those things, and you're stopping it and stuff like that, and they're still doing it, that's not a friendship worth keeping. It's that simple.
Okay, right? I agree with that. Katrina, what are your thoughts on that? You agree with what Den said?
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, it just goes back to communication. If my partner is questioning something, then I'm not going to know the way that you feel. You have to come and approach me and tell me this happened and it's bothering me. I think the person likes you. And then the onus is on me to let them know that I will try to fix it or stop it. Like, I've heard this multiple times. I don't want to be hearing this all the time. Do you trust me? It goes back to trust then.
Yeah, it does.
Right? So first it's communication, then it's trust, and then you question the relationship, because I'm hearing on a daily basis that this guy keeps on calling me and it's bothering you, but you have bare girls calling you and it's okay. So
yeah, you see that you just added another layer onto it. So
layers, yes.
Because if your partner has a bunch of women calling him, you can't. But it's nobody can tell a person what to do, but you definitely can't try to make a suggestion as to what I'm doing in my life, and you're living your life like that. You got to be fair, right?
Right.
But so if it was opposite, and a girl, your man had a friend that you knew liked him, would you be okay with him saying, yo, I can manage that, and I'll make sure that nothing crosses the line? I'll have a conversation with them, but I don't think it got to get to the point where I got to cut off the relationship.
But that's how it should be.
In a perfect world, that's how it should be, but not. I don't think everybody's mature enough to do that.
Temptation's always there, right? At the end of the day, temptation is always going to be there. So then my question to you, Sin, is how do you deal with temptation?
Simple. I put myself in I put myself in a situation. Would I like somebody to do that to me? Like if listen, I've grown so much. I deserve like a medal. I deserve some type of accolades, man. Because if if I know that, listen, I like this girl and I'm trying to build something proper, I can't build a solid foundation on flipping sand. So I gotta start off right and make sure I'm doing my part. Just I can't ask you for nothing that I wouldn't be willing to do myself. That is my approach.
But Sin, I feel like, okay, yes, you have I guess the approach of a Buddhist monk. Okay, that's what it's giving me. But in a perfect world, that's nice. But I feel like not everyone could do that. So if you could do that, kudos to you. And maybe you should have a TED Talk where you could talk to guys about this stuff.
I said I should have a class. I was telling my friend the other day.
You should, man, because
let me guess, it was a girl.
No comment. No comment.
Katrina's trying to expose the thing.
Yeah, okay. I set myself up for that one though.
Yeah. But honestly, I just feel like in the ideal world, yes, but I feel like a lot of people can't do that. Do you get what I'm saying? Because if we could, like, let's be honest, if we as humans could put ourselves in someone else's shoes and change our decisions based off of that, there would be no problems in this world right now. Do you get what I'm saying? 100%. No problems, right? Yeah. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So, okay, so my question to both of you guys is, if you know somebody is already, like, let's say you're trying to pursue somebody or whatever the case is, and you already know they have a whole bunch of girls or guys or whatever the case is, what is your next steps? Like, are you still going to pursue them, and then, which happens a lot, where they still try to pursue, and then automatically now you're with that person, you think that you're going to change them, or you're going to now get mad at all the things that you knew was happening before you guys got together?
I don't think you can actually change someone. So if you kind of set yourself up for that, if you notice that white flag or red flag or whatever waving and you completely ignore it, you set yourself up for it. I mean, you can never change someone. You have to deal with the consequences. And we both know men are not going to change. Men are
That's not true.
Because men, why are you looking, Sincere? Look here. You know that I'm right.
He's like, God, help me.
Yeah, I'm like, exactly. I'm like, I just gave a little, like, I said I deserve a medal because I'm not the same person who I was.
That's, remember, what was it? He's a monk? He's the monk?
Yeah, the Buddhist monk, yeah.
But many men out there are very stubborn. And when it comes to relationships, they try to take control of the relationship. It's never equal. Never.
Yo, I don't agree with that. People are stubborn.
Okay.
Yo, you know how much hard-headed, brickhead girls I've met in my life? People are equally stubborn.
Yeah.
Right? I just feel like, yo, man, like you said, if you go into a situation and you see all these red flags, you're the fool for thinking that you're gonna be somebody to change that person. You met them that way.
When do you change then? When do you feel you should change?
When do I feel I should change in terms of, like?
You said that you have grown. What made you realize, you know what, I'm gonna fix it up because I'm slacking right now?
Probably being in a relationship and looking at it in retrospect, realizing that I could have did things better. That's if you meet somebody that you care about and then you realize, like, shit, I dropped the ball, and you see where you dropped the ball. Obviously, it's a two-way street, but for my particular situation, I realized that I could have did things better. So I just said, yo, either I'm going to keep doing the same things and getting in the same results, or I'm going to make some changes. So
okay. So Sin, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I don't want to forget this point, okay, or this thought. So there's this Instagram post that we posted on our page, right? And it said, "Man only change their ways for a woman he really likes. So if he's not changing for you, you're not the one." What do you think about that?
I think that's true.
Okay.
I've seen many men be in situations where they realize like, yo, if I don't fix up, they may lose that girl.
Mm-hmm.
And then that sparks a change in them because they don't want to jeopardize that. And that's just human nature. Nobody wants to jeopardize things that mean a lot to them. They're going to try to protect it at all costs. Right? So I do believe that statement is true.
Okay.
You
That's
know?
nice. That's a nice okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Toronto man would be happy with your
He's not representing
What?
them. So no, we have to have someone else because he's not representing them. He said that
Yeah,
multiple times.
yeah.
No,
I ain't
let me tell
representing
you,
anybody but myself.
it's not about representing. Okay, okay. It's not about
Yeah.
representing, but it's nice to always have a guy's perspective on anything because guys and girls bump heads a lot. What's a
Yeah.
big issue for a guy is probably not a big issue for a girl, and vice versa, right? And
Mm-hmm.
us girls are very emotional beings, right? Everybody knows that. So what's a big deal to us?
Mm-hmm.
Guys are like, what?
Right.
Why are you mad? What
Yeah.
what is wrong with you? You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And that's where issues lie because we don't see eye to eye, but I feel like we're not meant to see eye to eye. We're meant to try to understand each other though, right? And that's what it is
Yeah.
at the end of the
I
day.
think
But
that's the right
like,
way.
so seeing a guy's perspective,
I
like
think.
me and Katrina, we could sit here and talk our nonsense, right? And we know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah.
we feel it's right. But guys will be like, what the
Right.
hell are they talking about? So it's nice to have a guy here,
Yeah.
right? So
Okay. I
it is.
appreciate that.
Is there
Well, yeah. Like,
now? Yeah, go ahead.
no, no.
No,
What
go
you gonna
ahead.
say?
No, I was
No,
just
no.
gonna.
No.
I'm
Sorry.
gonna
Sorry. What
end
you
it
gonna
off
say?
with that when it's time. No, because I'm gonna
Yeah.
ask you at the end. So I want you to think as you're talking and saying certain things. I want to ask you at the end. What are some what's one thing that you would want to know from a guy's point of view or like a girl's perspective?
From a woman's point
Like
of
a
view.
main like
Yeah.
a question. Yeah, from a woman's point of view or whatever the case is, right? So you don't have to answer that now. You can circle back around.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
when we end it
Okay.
off, I
Okay.
want to know what's a question
Okay.
that you need to know, and we'll try to get it answered for you.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
my next question, and it's probably my last question. Um,
Mm.
how do you spice up a relationship?
You gotta step
So
out you gotta step out your comfort zone, man.
And it doesn't have to
You
be.
gotta do shit that no, it doesn't have to be sexual. You just need to not do the same repetitive things over and over again, because that gets boring, man. So, like, okay, I, let me ask you something. My perspective is this: women appreciate when a man takes the lead, and I say that in the sense where, yes, there are times that a woman would like to be asked, like, "Hey, baby, what do you want to do today?" But would you not more times than not prefer a man say, "Hey, listen, we're gonna be doing this and this today, so get ready"? Wouldn't you like the man to take the lead rather than fucking being always be like, "Oh, what do you want to do? What do you want to do?" Right?
I
Is that
rather
true or
that,
no?
to be honest. I rather the lead. I rather a guy take the lead and stop leaving it up to us to make the decisions too. Like, what do you want to do? Maybe I don't know what I want to do. Tell me what I have to do. Like,
Right,
tell me what we're doing today.
right.
Like, you get what I'm
I
saying?
think there should be a
So
balance. I think you don't always have to
yeah,
tell me what to do. Try to see what
yeah.
I want to do.
Oh, you're passionate. You're passionate about that.
Yeah, no, no,
Katrina's
no.
like,
And you know
you ain't
what?
telling me.
Don't tell me all the time.
Right, yo, yo,
No,
you
no,
see her
no,
hands, her wrist,
no,
like,
no, no,
Yeah,
hold on.
no.
But hold on, let's take a step back. Not in the sense that, oh, yo, listen, you need to do this or da 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 da. Be
Mm.
like, yo, babe, I need you to be ready at 7 o'clock. They put on a nice dress. Be ready at 7 o'clock. Oh,
Or
why?
I
Why?
bought
Just
you
be
a nice
ready
dress.
at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah, even that.
Yeah.
Even that, right? Put
Mhm.
on that dress I bought for you. Like that type of shit. Rather than always being like, oh, so what are we doing tonight? Da 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 da. No, take the fucking lead and be like, yo, no, we're doing this. But you don't have to do it like a barbarian. You know what
do
I'm
this
saying?
now.
Yeah. Where you feel like you're a
Yeah,
captive. You
I,
know,
yeah,
so
I
just
think I think that's actually a way you can spice up the relationship if you aren't the type of person to ask your partner what they want to do, or ask if you keep on asking them what they want to do. I think spicing it up could be, we're gonna do this, put on that
yeah,
dress, let's go.
yeah,
And it doesn't even
yeah.
have to be sexual, but I'm telling you guys right now, it will lead to sex because women, it
You
will
see,
lead to sex.
you're spilling the secret sauce, yo. Don't say too
No,
much.
I'm
Like,
helping
listen.
everybody out that's listening.
Yeah,
Spice,
well, this is true. This is true.
like
Yeah,
stop that
because
pattern, you know?
yeah, and that's what I mean. I think like in terms of spicing it up,
Hmm.
rather than being like, oh, what are we gonna do or what you want to do? No, take the lead and be like, yo, tonight we're like as a man, plan something. Plan to do something y'all never did before. You
hmm.
know, I think they'll appreciate that.
I
And
think.
then
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
you just want to create good moments, good memories.
And I think a lot of guys should take that into consideration because a lot of times guys just don't take the initiative to do
Mm,
certain things, right? And then they wonder why, we might go to some guy that is willing to do those things because you need to get out that comfort zone. And yes, there's more to life than just chilling. Like no
right,
girl wants to chill 24/7.
But
Let's
then
be
right,
a
no,
hundred
but it's
percent.
also up to the girl to
right.
say, I'm getting bored of
Yeah.
this. So I
Hmm.
mean,
Hmm.
that's also, it's like back and forth, you know what I'm saying? You tell them that you're not happy, they can try to make it work. And if they don't try
Yeah,
to make it work, then you're not with the right person, right?
Yeah.
that's true. But then you see now, like, yo, once you get to a certain stage or whatever, you gotta be attentive, man.
Yeah.
You gotta be very attentive to. You gotta feel the room and understand, like, yo, if your partner, like, it's time to do something different. Step outside the box and do something that you don't regularly do. You know, so that's a skill set that men should learn. You
Mm,
know,
mm,
so because mans will want to know why the girl wants to go talk to another nigga,
mm-hmm.
because that's how they operate. They're functioning like that. They're living their life, and they're not asking the girl questions. They're saying, yo, we're gonna do this. We're gonna take the lead on this thing. And women like that. That is my experience, though.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. Because
You know.
we women, we're already indecisive. We don't even know what we want to eat. All till now, I don't know what I want to eat. You ask me what I
Right,
want to eat, you have to say, "Yo, where do you want to eat this or this?" Then I'll answer. Don't ask me what I want
right.
to eat.
Right.
So,
Don't even ask me
close-ended
where I want to go.
questions.
I'm not gonna say
Yeah,
I don't know. I
Mm.
don't know where
yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
go. But okay, that's a good perspective. That's a good thing to look at. And I think a lot of guys need to hear things like that because girls and guys just we don't see eye to eye. So when you have a male now saying these are the things that you should
Mm,
do,
mm,
I feel like they would listen more. You get what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's something to take into consideration for
Yeah, I just noticed that from my perspective,
hmm.
it's always had a positive result when
Okay.
you're not wandering around like a little boy and be like, oh, what do we do? Da 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 da. No. I'm gonna plan this thing out. Just make sure your schedule is clear for this day at this time. We're gonna
Hmm.
go do something.
And that kind of falls back into like the submission thing that I was touching base with another
Mm,
episode in a prior episode.
mm,
I'm saying like for females, we're not gonna submit to a guy that is just you feel like he's not a man like taking
yeah,
control. You get what I'm
yeah,
saying? So a lot of guys have issues with girls like, yo, she doesn't even call me, she doesn't even do this, she doesn't even do that because she doesn't want to because
yeah,
you're not the man that she's like
yeah,
like
yeah,
you know what I
yeah,
mean? You're just
yeah, yeah,
it's like you're a burden.
yeah. Yeah.
You're
Right.
not the man, you're like her sibling or something. She's just annoyed. Like you need
Mm,
to you know what I mean? A lot of guys don't get that. Like girls
yeah,
want to feel like you get what I'm saying? Like
they're
someone's
with.
taking the lead to be
Yeah.
submissive, someone you want to be submissive to, right?
Right.
That's what it is. So
And, and it's you guys relinquishing that and being okay. This person is taking. I'm gonna give them the lead on this thing. It's not that the man is imposing themselves and be like, no, you got to do what I say.
Hmm.
They just operate in a way that the woman realizes, like, yo, this dude knows what he wants, he knows what he's about, and he
mhm,
doesn't mix his words up. He says exactly what he means, and I could appreciate that. Yo,
mm,
And
I'm
you know
willing.
what's also hard to find? It's
Mm,
hard to find a guy that tells you something and their actions line up to it. So you can't tell me one thing and then you're doing complete opposite. And I think that's really hard to find um, for those little boys out there that think that they're
And then now you're gonna crucify me. I was talking to my friend, and yeah, it was a female, yeah,
Mhm.
and I was telling her, I'm like, listen, don't listen to what people say. Look at what they do. If you want to see what they're really about, look at their actions.
Mhm.
That will tell you more of the truth rather than what's coming out of their mouth. Because people can say whatever the hell they want to say.
Take note of that. Take note.
Mhm.
Don't make it an argument. Just take note and then see if it happens again. Then
Right.
you let them know that you've seen it more than once.
What my grandma has a saying: don't take a match to look for something in the night when you had all day to see it.
Ooh.
Mm.
Ooh. Yes, yes,
Right.
yes. Okay.
Granny, come true, grandma.
Right.
No, that's deep. That's pretty
Uh,
deep.
Yeah.
so that's one of the things that I believe in. Like if somebody, it's the same, they show you who you are, and then you're looking at their actions on a daily basis, and you be like, okay, then this is what it is. But this is after you had the conversation and you address what it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like the old me, I wouldn't have addressed it. I'd be like, okay, this is not what I want. But now I'd be like, I owe the person enough to say, okay, yo, listen, I don't like this, or why did you do this thing? Maybe for all I know, there's a logical reason for it,
Mm.
and I just looking at it from a wrong perspective.
Mhm.
So then go from there.
So, Sincere, a next question now. Have you ever been ghosted by a female before?
Never.
Have you
And I'm
ghosted?
not sure.
Have you?
I'm not saying it to be pompous.
Yeah,
I
you are.
personally never,
But
never.
have you been? Have you ghosted someone?
Yeah, I have.
Why?
Mm. And you don't have to go into super
No,
detail,
no,
but
no.
Yeah.
get
I
them.
want to
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
what made you want to not talk to that person, let them know that they're not the one.
the- I think it was that I saw the things that I didn't want to see. They portrayed themselves one way, and then on a couple interactions, I realized they're not that person, you know. And I've just been like, I'm not gonna do that. This is old me.
Mhm.
So I have. If it was today, I'd tell them like, yo, man, this is not working out, and I tell them the reason too why it's not working out. And it's up to them to do what they want to do from there.
Mm.
Have y'all ever ghosted anybody? Katrina, you should be. Have you never?
No.
Wow.
I'm the type of person I like to tell people how I feel, and it could get annoying, but I just like to
Yeah.
let people know how I feel, and then I base it on if they want to work it out. So
Okay.
I think
Uh,
the whole ghosting thing is show.
Yeah.
I think it's immature because
Yeah.
you should just tell that person you don't like them and then move on with your life.
I
well, I'm
agree.
guilty. I'm super guilty, and I've been
You're
guilty.
a
And
ghost, though. You're a ghost.
I'm trying to. That's something. I get it. It is immature. You get me?
Mm,
But for me personally, like I'm a I'm an empath and I can't deal with certain emotions sometimes, right? So when you're telling someone like I guess I'm a runner. I rather run
yeah.
away. I'm runaway bride, okay? I rather run away
Oh my gosh.
than to say this and this is how I'm feeling, but then it goes based off of feelings too. Like are you in tune with your emotions and are you able to communicate these to that individual and things like that. And I always had that issue to communicate 100% of what you're feeling or thinking about. You get what
Right.
I'm saying? So I feel like ghosting
Uh,
thing is horrible, but like I've done it and I feel super bad. So sorry to everyone I
you
ghosted. I
ghosted.
apologize, okay? And sorry for
Oh,
the people I've ghosted recently. I
oh.
apologize,
Well,
okay?
at what point does ghosting become a thing? Because there has to be a point when
I think it's
you
more
guys have
so.
enough rapport that you be like, oh, I'm gonna just stop talking to this person.
And that's what it is. I think it's more so when you're in a situation that is not, I guess, not going anywhere and it's
Mm,
continuous. And at one point, you come to the realization that, hey, this is not for you. But it comes to the communication part. Instead of communicating it, you're just like, you know what? This person
yeah.
will understand when I stop talking to them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
more so like, I don't say it's a respect thing it's a disrespect thing, because it's more so like if you've already communicated to someone many and multiple times on little things, or change this or do this, and they're not doing it, at one point you don't want to talk anymore. You're done talking.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah. So
Right,
I would
right.
say for me, that's where my ghosting came into play, because I could say things and talk and talk and talk, but at one point I'm only human. I'm always gonna get tired of talking.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, you know what? It's time to stop talking and start walking. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. That's it. I
That's
feel
it.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so all of my ghosting stuff that happened when I was much younger,
Mhm.
and if they're one of those things, if you knew better, you do better type of situations. I
Mhm.
just, I just that was what I did, and I didn't do it a whole bunch of times, but I did it more than once. I tell you that for sure.
Mhm.
But again, like Katrina had said, I agree. Like at this particular stage, just tell the person, like, just
Mhm.
had a conversation and be like, yo, this is not working because of this, and I'm gonna have to call it
I
quits.
think it's more work to actually ghost someone than to just tell them how you feel. Like the steps, the steps.
Not
Oh, the steps to
necessarily.
ghosting?
There's
No,
barely any steps. You
there's
block,
no steps. Yeah,
block,
that's
delete,
it.
bye. Never see
It's
you
like,
again.
Well,
But
yeah, what you say, like a two-step process.
it's
That's
two
it.
steps. Block, delete, bye.
but there's a time that you should do it when they're sleeping, right? Like so they don't
You-
Yo,
do
don't
it
kill
at
me.
like 3 o'clock in the morning,
Right?
and then move
I-
on.
I'm not disturbing my sleep for that shit. You would
Right?
have to get blocked when I feel like when it's happening. Like if that's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's happening. You know?
But then again, it all falls down to this and plays down to this, right? As you get older, right, you start to lose that filter, and you don't give two craps what anybody thinks. You get what I'm saying? And you're more
Mhm.
willing and more
Mhm.
keen to just say, you know what, this is what it is.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
And I feel that as you get older, that's all it is. It's just like, this
yeah.
is what it is. I don't care about your feelings. Not that I don't care, actually, but I care about my feelings more than
More
yours.
than that, that's it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's it.
And
Yeah.
that's what we have to realize. So as you get older, it doesn't matter, but there's a lot of things to break down, and it's a process in the same
Mm.
way, because people could guilt you. How many times have you probably broke up with a girl, Sincere, or
Mm.
Katrina, you broke up with a guy, or said you're not trying to, and then there's the pleading, and then there's the crying, or there's this and there's that. It's because it's like, that's the stuff that people don't want to deal with, which is why ghosting and stuff happens
Mhm.
regardless, because you don't want to be
Yeah.
guilted into staying in a situation you don't want to be in, and things like that, right? So
Hey,
um
can I say something?
yeah.
Before the guilting into staying into a situation that
Mhm.
only worked with me in the past because I knew that I wasn't being the person who I should have been. I was doing things that were messed up.
Yeah.
So I felt guilty. The minute I realized that and I started dealing with myself properly and dealing with the person properly,
Mhm.
even if that person felt like, oh, tried to guilt trip me or whatever it might be, it didn't work on me. It
Yeah.
never worked on me because I knew my intentions. Like, yo, I never did anything. I was truthful with you 100% of the time. And I'm telling you that today, this is how I feel. Yeah, I understand that you're going through it, but that doesn't change my decision
Mhm.
because I'm not going to put myself through that. You
Okay.
know?
All right.
Yeah.
So pretty much, did you think of anything that pressing question that you would want a female to answer, on behalf of, like, is there anything that when you're talking with your friends, and you're like, yo, why do girls even do this? Is there something that you're tough about as a guy that you would want girls to, maybe answer? Oh, you look at that smile, you're like, it's probably
Yeah.
like a million, a
I'm
million.
trying to give this one some thought. Is there anything that I would like to know?
Hmm. And
Mm,
be sure to just think, even if it's not you, and you'd feel like any guy would want to know, on a girl's perspective, this
right.
is something we would want to touch on the next episode.
Ah.
No
Mm.
pressure.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
wish I had some. I wish I could have prepared that
You can go
before.
ask us afterwards, and then we could.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Put it in a podcast. Okay.
Yeah. You could always get back to us on that, and we'll definitely um figure it out, pretty much, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let me do a quick brainstorm, and then I'll let y'all know, and you can start the next podcast with that question.
All right, sounds good.
All right.
All right, so guys, this has been another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. I'm Denean.
I'm Katrina.
And we want to thank Sincere for making an appearance and speaking his thoughts, his opinions, his authentic inner thoughts.
Right.
And I want everyone to comment and tell us what you feel about this video. And definitely, if you want to see Sincere back, let us know. We'll definitely be back though. So just let us know, and we'll definitely have him again. Any thoughts? Any last comments in?
No, I think it was a good question period. I like it. You guys asked some questions that made me have to think a little bit.
All right.
But I think it's good though. So I'm more than happy to come back and do it again. Next time, let's get some way more intense questions.
Oh,
we're ready.
Okay,
no,
I'm gonna be
he's
waiting.
not ready. We're ready. He's not ready. This is intermediate.
Yeah, this is the introduction one.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah. So don't worry. When you guys get some more potent questions, let me know.
All right. Okay.
All right, cool.
That's Tough Talk Tuesday for you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right.
Guys.
Bye.